kids. It's Mark Miller here. Adjusting my mic volume. That looks a little bit better. Interesting. Roy, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing very well, my friend. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Just trying to adjust my levels here so everything looks okay. Just don't want to clip. Maybe right about there. That's where I want to be. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm good. So let's work on, I want to work on active turn indication.
Mm-hmm.
So I have, I decided to go with a light shining down on him. So you can see there's a little light around the edges of this guy.
I do, yeah.
If it gets darker, it is more obvious, like that.
Yep.
I also added these little particle effects here too, and I'm they're not quite right. They're not quite perfect. Like, I kind of want them to originate around the perimeter of the circle. I'm not sure if the system actually supports that or not. But I have them up here for now, just to kind of say, okay, well, they're here, and we can play with them and we can change their color. Essentially,
well, the beauty of the system you've got in play is that this is a prefab that you'll have put together and stored the definition of in a sheet. So later on, you can go ahead and change that, and all the code that you've done around it, i.e. calling it to happen via commands, will still take effect just as well. So it's a great placeholder, if nothing else. Yeah,
so I've got it as a placeholder. Now, I have, let me change the size of this guy here a second. Oh, check it out. Screwshot's coming in fast. That's Screech Rat.
Hey, Screech Rat. How you doing, man?
How you doing, Screech Rat? Screech Rat's asking, what are we breaking today? Always comes in with that.
Yeah. It's a good catchphrase.
Oh, yeah, it's a good catchphrase. It's my new catchphrase. Awesome. That's what I say when I walk into the meeting. What are we breaking today, kids? Yeah. So I was going to come in here and just change its size. So he's now at a 2x2 size. I'll switch him down to 1x1. Another beautiful day in paradise. So if I switch to 1x1, things don't look as good. I got way more of these coming out, and this piece around the edge here is incorrect in terms of its size. I actually have, so if we come in here and I delete everything and come in and say,
is it just because you've changed the size of it after the selection was kind of indicated? Yeah.
No, not well. No, I actually have different node effects I created for the different scales. So
okay.
I've got different active turn indicators for each of those. Here, let's stop this a second. Come back in. Effect editor, known effect. Get the 1x1. There's the 1x1, and it looks like this. This is what it's going to look like without making any changes at all. We do have the ability to go in. What I kind of want to do is go into the particle system, get down to the tint color, and change the tint color to match the player color, whatever that's going to be.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. And then I might also, if we decide to go with this, I might also tweak the size of the particles so the particles shrink in size or increase in size based on the size of the player.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm thinking about there. So anyway, this is what I'm thinking about. One of the things that's cool is if I increase the multiplier, I can get this kind of really cool glowing effect going on here. And if I do that, combined with, there's another piece on here I'm playing with too, if I do keep this, and that's playback speed.
Okay.
So I'm coming in a little fast right now, so maybe turn it down to 0.6, like that, something like that. And now you've got this kind of more of an ethereal kind of thing. It's not perfect, but like you said, it's a placeholder.
Yeah. And to be fair, it's better than most placeholders anyway.
Okay. So what I want to do, so my goal for today is this. So this is my active turn indicator. When it's somebody's active turn, I want to go send a signal down over to TaleSpire indicating it's a new active turn. I want to get the player. I'm going to probably send down its color is one of the parameters. Okay. And so, but I'll find the player and figure out how big it is. Then I'll decide which of these active turn known effects I'm going to use. I'm going to get it. Then I'm going to try and modify, maybe playback. Well, I don't know. Playback speed I can go modify once, but I'll go modify the tint at the very least. That's kind of the goal. And that as we change from player to player, it'll go from player to player, putting a spotlight over the top of them when it's their active turn. All right.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I'm still playing with the UI in my head in terms of what I want to do. Okay. So let's.
So what are the parts of this? We have
figure
to
it out.
ask TaleSpire what the active player is, or are we telling TaleSpire? I guess
We're going to tell TaleSpire the active player. That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
Let's.
So if there is an active player, we need to take away what we've put there.
Yeah. So we're going to
change the active player to whatever, and then add the piece in question.
Yeah, we will need to. Hold on. Let me open up the TaleSpire Explorer project. And where's Paradise to you, Screech Rat? Okay.
That's a good question.
It's just occurring to me. We don't know that. So let's see. Over here in modding utils. So modding utils is based on some original work done by somebody else, and it's got all these commands in it. And these commands are like I almost want to call it commands instead of modding utils, to be honest. Well, I don't know. It needs some refactoring at the very least. We'll say that. It needs some refactoring. So we're going to need to create a new command here. And this one is going to be called set active turn. Like that. And set active turn is going to look like this. And oh, did I somehow change both of them? I'm not sure how I did that. That's interesting. Okay.
That's a bit strange, yeah.
I wasn't paying very much attention to that, but also there's, you know what, maybe let's report an issue here, because so I duplicated this line, and I'm not exactly sure what I did, to be honest. I'm not really sure I have, I know I have set active turn on the clipboard, but what happened was, notice the links are kind of here and broken. If I hit enter there, it kind of took a while, and the second enter there, I just hit it got rid of the links, but let's see if I can duplicate it. Interesting, wiggle creature set active turn. I see what happened. It did that intentionally for me. I came up here, hit paste, came down there, did that. Then I came down here, hit enter, and instead of getting rid of all the links like I was expecting, it kept them. I'm not sure if that's because of the duplicate line being the same method up there or not. Let's try it again. Let's duplicate the line, come up here, hit undo. I don't want that. Paste there. Yeah, I've still got these two links. If I hit escape, it picks up the marker. If I hit enter, it just keeps them. Notice the pieces that are now oddly in sync.
Yeah, it's like it's taken the right-hand part where it's preserved the link and then converted the second piece to be just that piece.
Yeah. Now, this is the version I have is the latest build, I think, off the server, or maybe one version back. So I'm not sure if this is new stuff that's going on here, but so we'll take a look at that, see if you can reproduce this. Can I? We'll just call this It's not clearing on escape or enter. All right, we're dog fooding Code Rush every day. If we find an issue, we'll report it. Devs get to see it. Okay, so a set active turn. We need a couple parameters to it. We need if arg.length is not equal to whatever our magic number of parameters we need, at the very least we need one. Then we're going to say return new API response. And now at this point, I'm going to say, you know what, we're going to create a static method called bad. And we're going to call this I think that's what it's going to look like. Let's go find good. Guess we do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Set compiler attribute, compiler caller, method caller, something like that.
Caller sounds. Caller name, callee.
Caller name.
Yeah.
It's not here. I've got to go find it somewhere else, I think, is what I have to do. Let's look for caller. It's not in the caller member name. I tried my best, Rory, to get it. It was actually there. I just had to start with the word caller. Okay. All right. So we're going to say the message here, I think. Let's do this. Error in, and then we'll put the caller member name there. Like that. So we'll have those two pieces there. No data.
Okay.
And that's what we'll send back. Okay, so there's my bad. Okay. What's going on here? Misspelled word. I just said F2, nothing happened. Is function lock engaged? Function lock was on. Okay. So let's just fix these two while we're here. Okay, what's wrong with set active turn now? Oh, because we're not returning anything. Okay, so if the args aren't right, we're going to go to there. At the very least, we're expecting one. So now we want to call TaleSpire. And is there anything in here that I could already use, or will I create my own new one? I could go into minis. I could also create something called a turn manager.
Mm-hmm.
TaleSpire.turns.setActive. Like that. Passing in arg of 0. So there, at least arg of 0 is one of the pieces. The other piece we might want to consider adding is second additional args. One is player color, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Set active, turns.set active. That's what I'm playing with. That's what I'm thinking. I think I'm going to do that.
So I'm presuming that the arg0 is actually the identifier of the one that we wish to have an active turn.
Yeah.
And when you say one player color, you're actually saying that is the index of one, so the second arg, which would be the color. Is that right?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm playing. This idea, the second one is going to be the color is going to be 1, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so we need to create something called TaleSpire.turn.setActive. So do it. Go ahead. Did you want to say something?
I was thinking your previous idea of turn manager or something like that. I guess the question is, so I wish to set the active turn. What do I? It's interesting, isn't it? Minis was an interesting one, but I'm trying to think. There are reasons why you wouldn't use minis, isn't there?
Well, I don't know. I could do this. Yeah, I'm feeling this. I'm back to feeling this. I think this is where we're going to do it.
Okay. Is there a presumption that minis are physically present on the board? So is there a way somebody can have it be their turn but them not be on the board currently?
Yeah, you sure can. So yeah, let's go. So the first thing we're going to do is, so what we're going to use your strategy, Roy, is get the simplest thing working first.
I like that.
Is what we're going to do. Yeah, I don't like it, but we'll do it. Get creature board asset is what we're looking for, I think. And yeah, so we're going to look something like this. So we need to say, okay, there. This is going to be my creature ID. Okay, so that means there's nobody on the board.
Yeah.
Not found. Player not found.
Okay, so if we make it past that, then we did find somebody, and what's more, we have a reference to them.
Yeah. I'm going to return the creature board asset so that the call itself, in set active turn, this guy could send that data right back. So, for example, we could say return API response dot good, and good takes what? A message and some data. So I'll just say success, and then the data will be the return of the that result. So then we could go call set active turn and see if is the player on the board or not, and if not, we could then put up a message in another place if we wanted to. Okay. So I think that would, well, if this is a null, we should maybe return a fail. Creature not found.
Yeah.
Okay.
You need to pass creature. There we go.
Okay. Okay, so that feels a little bit better. Set active turn is there. All right, so we've got the creature ID I need to pass in right here. Okay, so if that works, we're here. We have a creature and we're down here. We're going to need to create TaleSpire.effects. Is this the same as what oh man, now I'm not sure. These could be just the special effects built in. Okay, hold on a second. It's not prefabs. I'm gonna have to go into effects for a second, take a look at it. This is all TaleSpire code that I'm recognizing so far. Get effect manager. Yeah, that's from their runtime there. Known effects. Nope, that's still all theirs. That's not ours. Okay, so I've got another class out here that I've created. Well, let's go over, if we go to the effects editor, I'll be able to find it a little faster. It's whatever happens when I click this button. It's just known effects, which exists at the higher level.
Okay.
But we have a registration, I think, for it that's occurring down below, as I recall. This is part of the registration that's happening here. Okay, so known effects is in the higher level TaleSpire Explore. You can't move down to highlight it, but it's right underneath the mouse. TaleSpire Explore. It's in that project.
Yeah.
It has the ability to load up a TaleSpire effect by passing it the name right there. It's also got this create. So what's TaleSpire effect? What is that? I'm a little bit thrown by that. It's just the name and effect pair. Okay. The create is the piece. This is the piece right here that I need to call from down below.
Okay.
That's the piece that I need to do. Known effects factory. This could be the key. Composite effect. Known effects. Composite effect. Effect builder. Aha. Composite effect is down in the core. So we register the effects builder. And we call create or find unsafe in it. So we just need to pass in, well, it's on the composite effect. It's only used here. Okay, so I think I need a new method. It's somewhat similar to this. create, what do we want to call this, Roy? This is the effect that's in the, it's the known effect. I guess I'll call it that. I'll create known effect, like that. We'll call it an effect name.
Because we've got a few different terms floating around here at the moment now, don't we? We've got known effect, we've got composite effect, and I feel like there was a third one, but maybe not.
There's visual effect as well. Visual effect is TaleSpire. Composite effect is something that combines multiple pieces together with property mods and changes those.
Yeah,
but then we
that's
also
the one we built, and that's really quite useful.
Yeah, but I'm also got this term called known effect that I'm using in this button right above me right here, that known effect button right there, that one, which gives me a list of all of the effects that are out in the Google spreadsheet.
Right.
And these are saved by putting a name here and choosing save effect. So this is like a known effect. It's different from a prefab. It's different from a TaleSpire effect. The TaleSpire effects are these things right here. And it doesn't help that I use the word known there, but Circle Dust and Magic Missile are the two that they ship so far. So create a known effect or effect from Google Spreadsheet. I could call it that too.
So we start with TaleSpire effects, which are effectively building blocks of a kind. We've also got two sets of Google Sheet-based things, because you've got your known effects, but you've also got your composite effects, where we copy them out. So you build them, copy them. Do they go into known effects? Is that what the logic is there?
Yeah, when you say copied out,
actually different.
If you're talking about the ones that I've created inside of this UI right here, so I've got active turn one by one.
Look at that.
I'm pretty sure I already showered this morning.
Copper Beardy is in the house.
Welcome Copper Beardy.
I guess so. What I was referring to, Mark, is we start with sort of some base kind of bricks, some building blocks. One set of these is the built-in TaleSpire, of which there are very few items. Okay, then you've got additional assets that you've brought in from outside, that you've compiled in from other places, and these are our start points. You can then take those and compose them together into a composite effect, which you then effectively serialize out to a known effects sheet.
Yeah.
When you're happy with.
Yeah. I don't know. You want me to call it
known effects that you're looking to pick from now?
Yeah. That's what I was going to call it. I'm not thrilled with the name, as you can see. We've kind of stopped the show because we ground the show to the halt because we don't have a great name. I think we're both ready to be like, all right, you know what? Let's consider other careers at this point. This naming thing is too hard.
I've been at that point a lot today.
Oh yeah, creative effect.
I'm thinking Burger Flipper is really looking like a great career.
Yeah, you know it's actually they have no idea how great they have it. I am going to get right in on that burger flipping. So yeah, I can call it create known effect to be consistent with the UI in the other sheet, or I can say create effect from Google Sheet. Right? I can do that. Mm-hmm. That's certainly like okay.
It's descriptive.
I think I'll keep it there. Create effect from Google Sheet. It's in, or maybe create from Effects Builder. So Effects Builder is here. This is also a piece that I'm, I could rename this to Google Sheet Effects Builder. Look, it's called a known effects builder. All right, let's do this. Let's start using the word known effects in here. Okay, and then, so we're going to come in here where I say create known effect. I'm just going to do it, Roy.
Okay.
And then we've got the effect name, and we're going to use that here. I want this to be actually, I think, a static. As long as is this thing static? It is, sweet. Okay, so that's going to say create known effect, and it is going to return the column from here, that the instance ID We're going to pass this in here. It's going to be a type string, and we're going to default it to null. And I think that matches what's going on here. It does. We're going to return that there. That means we're returning a game object in this scenario, and we're returning a big fat null in that scenario. Then we've got this debug here. And I just realized with that rename, I have, let's see if we can find that matching whole word. Just want to change these messages right here. Okay, that looks like that was taken care of. All right, so now I've got create known effect. Back over to where we were. I'm just hitting escape to go through all the markers. So now we want to create known effect. TaleSpire dot. No, it's not going to be in there. It's going to go right from. It's in composite effect. Dot create known effect is where it is. And now what I want to do is ask for active turn 1 by 1. Like that.
Okay.
Now, I can give it an instance ID. If I do that, then we'll track it kind of in this global list of things we've built. And later at the right time, or if we say shut down everything, kill everything we've created, we can then destroy it. We can also track it locally by not giving it an instance ID. And I think I'm leaning towards that right now. So this is going to be my active turn indicator, like that. I will make that a field, like this. When we set the active term, I'm going to check to see if that active indicator is not null. And if it's not null, I'm going to say game object dot destroy and pass that in like that.
Yeah.
I'm also going to...
So the first time through, that does nothing because we haven't done this before. Second time through, it's taking the active turn indicator from the first person and passing a detectable, destroying it, and creating a new one on the second person. The illusion of movement.
Yeah, isn't that exciting? So now we've got the active turn indicator. And I built the effect, but what I want to do is I need to now put it where the creature asset is. I need to kind of parent it. And I think there's the board loader. I'm not sure. Let's go switch over to TaleSpire a second here if we can.
This is very similar to what we did when we had the targeting, yeah? Because we put the target in the same relative, in a location relative, as it were, to the player.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to just delete everything in here. I'm going to go in and say explore mini, grab a mini, and just double check. The base loader gets me here.
Now, don't we have some code for when we did targeting that allowed us to distinguish between when a player is flying and when they are not? Because it was a different base we had to look at based on that fact.
That is a great recollection, Rory. I'm glad you recalled that. Let's go look at base loader, because I think if we tapped index reference, we will find it.
Get base game object. That looks good.
Okay. So now we are going to say get base game object of the creature asset, I think is what it needs. Wait, where was that? We're in TaleSpire minis. That was TaleSpire target. Okay, so at this point, we can kind of do the same thing here, like that. And now we're going to say active turn indicator. I think it's .transform.setParent. There it is. And we're going to pass in the base game object. .transform. Yeah. And if that's all good, then we're going to return the creature asset. We're going to assume that's good and that works.
Yeah.
Now, we need to extract this to its own method. Clear, active, turn, indicator.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to make this public because we also need an option to do just this. So when we're done out of battle, we need to destroy it. Okay, so we need to, if that we're going to do that, then what we need to do is do something similar to what we've got here. We call this clear active turn indicator. Dot. And we're just going to go in and say TaleSpire minis dot clear active turn indicator.
Okay. I was certain for a moment there that it wasn't in the minis, that it was somewhere else, but yeah, fair enough.
What is my problem here? It's not returning anything. Return API response dot good. Okay. So we've got this issue again. Oh, that worked from there, but not from the left. Interesting. Okay. I think that's it for down below, for the pieces we have to work on down below. We have, we now have to hook up set active term and clear active turn indicator above. So let's build this. I'm going to shut down TaleSpire on the second machine. Done. Now I'm going to rebuild this. Make sure that's working. Now, we don't have, if we were to add this, we don't have a cleanup. There's no cleanup for the active turn indicator. We need a universal cleanup.
Okay.
Cleanup mechanism. To call this when we unload the board. The game board. Otherwise, it's gonna be problematic if we're in the middle of somebody's turn and then we load up a new board and then all of a sudden we gotta, what's going on? Mm-hmm. I feel like that's the case that we need to worry about that, or maybe when the character dies. Well, no, when it dies, maybe it's going to be okay because we're parenting it. This particular mechanism may be okay and safe because it'll destroy the game object, which should destroy its children.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to add that note there. Okay. So I think I got to build, let's do it one more time just to be safe. Rebuild all succeeded. Good. Next, over to the D&D app. Now, we need to basically invoke a command. I'm going to rename this. I think to just invoke. Like that, and I think that might have impacted down here. I'm going to rebuild it just in case. One more time. All right, so we've got invoke in there. We need to figure out where the next turns are being triggered. To do that, I'm going to go into the Stream Deck. There's a command I've got right on that Stream Deck. Right there, called next turn. Come over here. See if I can just search for next turn. Well, look at that. There's one right here in the window. Yeah, called from the next turn command right there. Okay, sweet. So lock game next turn. Good. We need to, I'm going to move this down to the end. So we've just got this kind of here. We need to basically come down in here and say TaleSpire invoke. What was it? Set active turn. Set active turn. And now we need to throw the TaleSpire ID, whoever is active. Let's see, game, do we have an active player? Active creature? Sweet. Do I have a TaleSpire ID? I think I do. Why are you laughing?
Good. It's lovely when it falls into place like that.
Yeah, it's better than before.
As
when we
want to know, it's as if it was designed by some people who really, really knew what they were doing.
I don't know. We'll see if it works. Set active turn. Okay, we need to if that's not null, then we're going to do that. Otherwise, we're going to come down here and we're going to say, what is it? Clear active terms? Clear active
turn indicator.
Like that. Oh, we don't have an invoke for that, do we? Because we did just have this. I see. Okay. There's one more. This one. Right there. Where are you located? Yeah, TaleSpire core. All right. So we're going to come back over here. We're going to rebuild that. Rebuild this one down here. Okay. All right. Next, one more thing we need to do. We need to call this when I'm not liking all the text. That's what I'm looking at. I'm just not liking all the text. Yeah, because I have to call this now a second time in a second here with another passing in the same string. And I'm just trying to figure out the best way to solve this. I think the best solution looks like this. I think that's the best solution.
Certainly reduces use of the string, which is a good thing.
Yeah, so okay, so when you do this, when we exit battle, so let's go in and hold on. Let's go see if we can find that battle. No exit, combat. Button, enter, exit, combat. Click, enter, combat, exit, combat. That looks potentially like my entry point right there. If we're not in combat, say already not in combat, down here we're going to go do that. Then we can say, hey, clear active turn indicator when we exit combat. Exiting the time freeze, we want to do the same thing. That's the second place where we want to do it. So it's going to be, well, look at this. We're calling button, enter, exit, combat, click from
That
both
feels a little strange, doesn't it?
places. Yeah, you know what? You're right. Let's go figure that out.
There's a method there. Clear all in-game active turn indicators already.
I like it.
Doesn't that feel like a great place to clear indicators from?
Yeah. It's only called from this one, not the freeze.
Oh.
Well, wait, maybe I don't have that button though. So what is it? Game, clear initiative order, clear all active turns, player stats, clear all active, update in-game creatures, update player stats in game. It needs to be called from the freeze one too, I think.
So that's more the discovery of an existing bug.
Yes, that is exactly what it is, I think. Let's double check though. Exit, where's my exit time freeze?
6125.
Yeah, there it was, right there. Where are you, button? There you are. Maybe not. Clear all in-game active turn indicators.
So what is a time freeze then, for sort of context purposes? What's actually happening?
A time freeze is where you can take turns, just like you can in combat, but where nobody's fighting anybody. So it's
decisions. I'm about to do this. You're about to do this. He's about to do that.
Yeah, Dungeon Master will do this at time. It's basically called non-combat initiative, and a Dungeon Master will do that if say, for example, ninjas, you're on a burning train headed towards a bridge that's been destroyed, and ninjas are flying in from the ceiling, but actually, that's still combat, isn't it? That's not a great example. It is. It's kind of like it's a better example is you're in an underground layer and you've hit the button. You've taken the idol and the layer is starting to destroy itself.
Sure.
So you're not in combat with anybody, but you don't have a lot of time to solve problems.
Right. So it's an immediate threatening situation, perhaps, but there is no actual opposition.
And everybody may want to do something at the same time, so you use initiative to solve that problem. Okay. So now my question is, what's going on with clear all team indicators? Here we do no matter what, whenever we hit the button, clear initiative order, clear all.
So you're doing it because combat is over and there is no longer a need to take sequential turns.
Well, this button is the same button that can toggle. You would almost argue that this line of code should go down in here. If we're in combat, then we're about to... Oh, sorry, we're toggling it. So it should go here. You could almost argue that should go here. Why does it go before here? I'm a little bit confused.
Is it clearing everything so that in one of the states it can set with a clean slate?
That's what I don't know, but I think that might be happening because it's here. So, certainly we haven't noticed any issues with it. But notice my inclination is to put it here instead. In fairness, we don't ever really hit this button.
Okay.
We really don't hit this button. We are using this is a button on the UI, and we're really using the Stream Deck. So what I think I'm going to do for consistency is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put it here for consistency, and then inside the clear all in-game active turn indicators, that's where we'll add this other call in the TaleSpire client to clear active turn indicator. That's what I think I'll do. All right, with that said, let's close this down. Let's do a rebuild over here. Will I need to step through this code? I'm going to assume I do not need to step through the code. So I'm going to start it up standalone so it doesn't we're not debugging it. All right, so I'm starting it up. I'm going to the TaleSpire machine, starting that up too. Machine number 2, I'm loading up the board. Switch over so you can see machine 2 as it's loading. On my Stream Deck, I'm bringing up buttons to show some players.
Okay.
Okay, got some players. Those players happen to be right down here in front of us. In addition, there's Fred and myself. I don't have a name tag yet because I turned off my name tag. But I should be able to turn it on pretty quickly. Like that.
Okay, so let's see if we can define here what success is going to be. You're going to enter combat, at which point there'll be an initiative roll, I guess, and then there'll be a sequence established for the characters that are in play. Then the first of those players will be established as the active player, and we should see their turn indicator highlight them on the board as the player who is going to actually do something.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. So I'm rolling initiative now. I've basically entered combat. Now, at this point, no player is the active turn yet. I'm about to hit the next turn button.
So you're going to move from nobody to the first,
right?
Effectively.
And it's just occurred to me. I hooked into next turn, but guess what? Fool forgot to hook into previous turn.
Well, we can still prove the logic of it, at least.
Fine, we'll prove the logic of it. We'll prove it. Let's see, I hit the button to switch back to TaleSpire. Yeah, there it is right there. Okay, great. So I'm going to hit the next button now. Here it comes. Next. Fred. Fred is not on screen.
Okay, so whilst he is the current active player, we can't indicate that he is so. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm going to hit the next turn again. It's me, and I'm not on screen too. One more time.
Third time's the charm.
Noctan. Noctan is, I think, this guy right here.
Yes.
And he does not look...
That was what you found the other day, yeah.
Yeah, he does not look like anything is happening. We need some debug messages, what it looks like we need.
Yeah.
I'll just keep hitting next. Just
Janus.
Janus.
Apollo. Shanti.
Yeah.
Okay, something is not quite right.
Not working. All right. Okay. Let's exit combat. Let's go into music. Turn it off. And let's go switch back. Okay, so assuming the problem is not above, do I have a previous turn? Maybe I don't have a previous turn. Maybe I'm actually going to be okay. I just want to go after that one while it's in my head.
Yeah, I'm curious though. What circumstance causes the legitimacy of a previous turn? Is it just an error correction mechanic?
Yeah, it's not implemented. Someone's saying, yeah, it's error correction is the essence of it. Okay. So set active turn not working. I want to try something else before we do anything while we're still up and running here. I want to go into TaleSpire targeting and make sure targeting still works. So when turn on targeting, yeah, it does. Okay, I just want to make sure that we've got that working. So I can come in here, target creatures. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's good to prove that.
I think I'm in a crash. No? What happened here? Let me turn targeting on again.
That's a little strange.
You hit the wrong button there. Target creature, target creature. Nope, look at it, did it again. Hold on.
It's not keen on establishing that one, is it?
It doesn't like the second hit. Let me clear everything. Targeting on. One more time. Target creature. Shuts it off the second time. This is new code we've added. This is a new bug I think we added yesterday.
Is it the second use, or is it that particular character?
It's the second use.
Same in the different order.
Second use. It's pretty sure. Target creature.
Yeah.
Target creature. Yeah, it's the second one.
Okay, good.
So we have that bug to go fix. Let's look at that right now. We're jumping into squirrel holes is what we're doing. So want to go to target creature, target command. That goes over to this target command. The command is, I think, select creature. Is that right? Wait. Let's look at this stream deck here.
Creature select mode.
Let's see what it is. I'm hitting this button here. It's just set. That's all it is, the set command. So set, notice also bind to selected creature.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same code, and now I'm thinking return selected creature.
Mark, this is the wrong code. You're talking about the difference between binding and targeting, aren't you? Weren't you targeting when we were in TaleSpire just now?
Yes, I was. It returns the selected creature.
I thought our selected creature code was written yesterday for the purposes of binding only.
Yeah, as I recall, the same code is happening no matter what. For both set and bind, we basically said we are going to...
Oh, sorry. Yes, you're right.
Return
you're right,
it.
because we looked at the two copies and went, these are the same. Let's collapse the code.
Yeah, that's what as I recall. So we're calling set on it. And then... Yeah, which returns the character closest to it, and we send that back. Mm-hmm. Is what we're doing in terms of selected creature. I'm almost wondering if it's happening on the return side of this. If we just happen to be returning something different than what we used to return. We used to return API response good, and now we're returning the actual creature. I'm wondering. So let's look at the other side of this thing when we call target set. We're going to get the character position back. Set creature target. True. Why are we ending it? I don't understand why we're ending it. I don't quite see that yet. I was thinking maybe the code was here, but that looks like that's just going to simply target it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's go back down. Well, I'm kind of thinking we want to start stepping through the code is what I think we want to do, at least up here on the top. TaleSpire target. This is internal. This is all internal UI right here.
Yeah.
So set creature target is that. Get creature from TaleSpire ID. So now I'm back down to thinking it's down below. Is what I'm thinking about. Back to the set here. Set return selected.
That other code looked pretty solid, didn't it?
Is there a second call to set here? Is there a second usage of set? Selected creature. It just says return selected creature. So selected creature does actually call set. We do have a couple pieces in here. Flashlight's not null. If the targeting mode is creatures, we add target to nearest creature. And we exit. The targeting mode may be different. Let's go look at the debug log over here. Maybe put this over here. And all right, turn targeting on. So target creature, there's one. Over here, I'm going to hit it one. Let's go look at the log here a second. It says interactive targeting mode is equal to creatures. I'm going to do it again. Target creature, and now it stopped. What's going on over here? It says character asset not found. It also says interactive targeting mode is none.
Oh. So after the first one, it's reset it?
Yeah.
I mean, none would sort of make sense. That's why we're picking an arbitrary location and just dropping it.
Yeah. Let's go look back at the code, see if we can figure out why it's being set to none. Oh. This is the problem.
Okay, yeah.
That's my problem.
Now, is that a finally that made sense for one of them, but not for the other?
Yeah. I'm going to say yes. It definitely is. So if we're in creature select, it makes sense there. Because we're just selecting one creature.
Mm-hmm.
Drop target at flashlight. Remember I added it? I go, this seems like we need this. But if it's creatures, we're just going to add target to nearest creatures. That's piece. So we can set it to none here, I think, safely. And I think we can set it to none here as well.
Right, but the plurality of creatures means that we don't change away from what we already are. We continue to do that until we've decided to do otherwise. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
That rabbit hole may be closed now. Let's go do a rebuild. Let's restart. Oh, well, as long as we're rebuilding, let's add messages over here in TaleSpire minis for set active turn. So we see what's going on over here.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe our problem is we might have a problem here, we might have a problem here. All right, so now we're going to get a little more data here. All right, so we got those. Let's rebuild one more time. Rebuild. Starting up TaleSpire on the second machine. So let's drop down a few more characters here, so we've got at least Fred and myself on board as well.
Mm-hmm.
Get them all in the space. So here's Fred. There's my character. Might as well throw down little cutie here. And lady. So I might as well throw a whole bunch of these down. There's Lady Tarania there. Alright. Let's give that a shot.
Okay.
Now we got all of these guys out here. Hopefully they'll save it for the next time I open it back up again. Alright, next. Do we still, in the instance that's running now, I think still knows everybody that's out there, right? Yeah, I can do the select. Oh, look at this. Selection's working nicely. See that?
Yeah.
Okay. So selection. Janus, I don't see Janus. I don't see anybody wiggling for Janus. Janus. Okay, so now we got a
veritable army of people. That's good.
Now Janus, there you go, in the back, wiggling. Okay, good. So that's the selection mechanism we used yesterday. We created yesterday. So just a kind of a way to indicate selection. Will probably enhance that in some way, but all right. Next, we're going to go into combat. Here we go.
Okay, so we expect Janus to be the first selected, yes?
All right, so here we go. Next turn.
Janus!
He's right at the back there.
Okay, so Janus is there. Let's see what our messages show up over here. Well, we're seeing... Well, that might be
An awful
old.
lot of wiggle, but nothing afterwards.
Yeah. That's weird.
That's suggesting that we've written a whole bunch of code which isn't even being called.
Yeah, it's certainly what it looks like, isn't it? Yeah. All right, hold on. Let's switch back to machine number 1. By the way, see the indicator we're using right there for Janus?
Yeah.
I'm playing with the idea of doing something similar for their turn indicator under the mini. It really would be nice to be consistent. The problem is that's a pre-generated special effect, essentially. It's not live. And I don't have a great way to do something similar. I can maybe get close, but I'm not really sure how to fix that.
One, maybe 2 sets of electrical energy, and then the colors that are involved.
Yeah, I'll think about it. All right, so here, set active turn. I got basically nothing coming in here to indicate whether this is being called or not. So I guess I'm going to add that.
Yeah.
Like that. Now, when we go to API response bad, we're gonna send this out here.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. That's an automatic. We don't expect to get huge quantities of bad, so we're not going to be peppering our logs unnecessarily. So that's good, yeah.
So we're going to do that. Okay. So if we exit here, then we're like going to get a message.
And same with the other exit with a null creature.
Yeah. And then otherwise...
And if it worked, then, well, hopefully it worked at that point.
So set active turn, double check that. Set active turn, that's the text. Okay, let's shut down TaleSpire and rebuild it. I'm going to do a normal exit at TaleSpire. Make sure it saves if it hasn't saved my board position of all those characters. All right, it takes a little bit longer. Just waiting for it. There it is. Shut down. Okay. Rebuild. Rebuild all succeeded. Starting back up on the secondary machine. Okay, there's my army of characters. Yep. I should still be able to just hit next turn. That's me. What's happening down here? I'm not seeing anything to indicate.
Nothing at all,
it's getting called. All right, so now...
Just to prove the connection, do we have wiggle? Can we generate one of those?
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Give me a second. There you go.
There we go. I mean, there is definitely a connection there.
I think it's so. My theory is this: is that the set active turn call that's coming from the D&D app has not been compiled.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what my thoughts are. It could also be there could be a problem here, maybe.
We're not looking at code just at the moment, Mark. Thanks. We're on the wrong machine.
There you go. Could be a problem here. Right here, that it's just active creatures for whatever reason is not null. So I think what we're going to need is a breakpoint right here. And so I'm going to shut down the main window, the D&D app on this machine, and we're going to run in. It could be that just simply recompiling and running makes it work. So I just hit the start button. WebSocket connected. Got one light on. About to get a second one on.
There we go.
All right, let's bring in the creatures. 1, 2, 3. Why aren't they coming in? Oh, there we are.
There we are.
Taking a moment to come in.
Slight delay.
Okay, those are the creatures. Let's enter combat. Okay, and then hit next turn. Got a breakpoint.
Shanti!
Active creatures, no.
Wow. And yet, we even heard the announcer declare exactly who the active creature was. So that's interesting. Something, I guess, internal to next turn is failing to set that, or is somehow allowing it to be reverted to null immediately afterwards.
Yeah, it could also be, you know, my recollection of what piece to use is not so great. There's an initiative index piece that's out here that is that determines whose turn it is.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Jetsam! Brand new shiny plane, kids.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jetsam. Glad you're with us. Shiny.
Okay, so if we have an initiative index, which has a value, then presumably we can use that to turn it... Well, do we need to turn it back into a creature? Well, I forget what we're actually...
Get active turn creature. Here we go.
There we are.
That looks like what we need. Get active turn creature. Now what is going on? So we kind of have this kind of thing going on here. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. That's a way to kind of solve that. I want to create something I think called active turn creature ID. So let's do this. Let's create a read-only string called active turn creature ID. And then I'm going to go get this like that. We're going to say, hey, if you this is an in-game creature. Let me turn off Coder's music here for a second so we don't get this conflicting double play of music. If that's the case, I'm going to return in-game creature.TaleSpire. Oops, in-game creature.creature. Sorry. In-game creature.creature.TaleSpire ID. Okay, that's one. Otherwise, if it's equal to, if it is a character, that I think is the other option, then we're going to turn character.TaleSpire ID. Otherwise, we're going to return null. That's what I think I'm going to do. Let's just double check that these two assumptions are the ones that are correct. I'm going to just tab through next reference to find the other code here. Yeah, this as an in-game creature, and the other one is a character. Yeah, it's those are the two different options. Okay, so now we're going to use this instead over here. What's going on with active creature? That's in the game. Ending turn for creature. Starting turn for creature. Why is it no? Creature taking action. I see. Yeah, you have to kind of take action for it to be an active creature. I think I understand what's going on.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So it's not just their turn, but they are acting.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how I'm interpreting what I'm seeing down in there. So that code was written before. Okay, so there we go. Active creature there. Then we're going to do this. And then we're going to do that. Okay, so now back over here. Really?
Okay.
%1. That's how I feel like. Wow. I think how much effort I think you put to making this work, developer. Fine. Okay, we're going to start it up again. Run. Keep it running on the other machine. New WebSocket connection. Okay, let's add the players. And enter combat. There's the TaleSpire machine. Let's just make sure that the wiggle works. There you go. So there's the connection. Yep. You can see the connection as we go through.
We can indeed, yes.
Let's go hit the next turn button, and let's take a look at here before we did. So there's the wiggles right there. Now we're going to go hit next turn. Nothing happening here. Is anything over in here? Nothing.
Wow.
Oh, wait.
How do we still?
No, it's okay. I'm at a breakpoint. You can't see it.
Oh, okay.
I got a breakpoint up. I'm going to run and just hit run. Okay, there we go. So now it says modifying active with true, modifying transform local position. So these pieces are coming.
Good things.
Yeah. Invalid cast exception though. Kind of occurs, which is kind of interesting. But look.
Yeah.
That is not Fred though. It's in the wrong place. So what'd you say?
I at first I thought it was all working fine, but no, you're correct. That's not Fred, is it? But that is the origin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also not. Wait, if I take Fred and move it, look at that.
Ooh, okay. So it's added it to the world relative to Fred, but at the origin.
Yeah.
So rather than at Fred.
Yeah. Okay. So that's actually not bad. So we're close.
Yeah.
I don't know what the invalid cast exception is though. And it looks like it's me. The valid cast exception in execute command. That means that's the name of the method, I think, that is being called.
Yes, because that's our bad API response that's using its caller method name.
Yeah, I think that's what's going on. So let's go see if we can find execute command over here, see if that's correct. Execute. Well, let's spell it. These all look too high level to me to be sending a message.
TaleSpire explore modding utils, maybe. 2 down from there. Is that the one?
That's it. Okay. So we're getting a cast. Here's the exception being caught here. Wait, it says, oh, that's the API response. So the log exception is happening here.
Right. But it means it's slightly unfortunate because although we're throwing an API response from there, the callee name therefore is execute command, but the actual exception could be happening anywhere in the code that this method calls.
Yep, I would agree.
I'm not calling a lot, thinking about it now. Presumption of string that we try? No, that's not right.
Let's at least put the error out here so we see what the command is. I think the command is going to be, I think we know what the command is actually. Like that. Okay. All right. Let's go see if we can duplicate it on the TaleSpire side of things over here. Let's see if we can get that invalid case exception. So I'm going to hit next turn again.
Nocturne.
Good. Okay. So next turn is, we're pretty sure, is invoking set active turn. Pretty sure.
I mean, in theory now, Noctan should be the one that things are relative to. You should be able to move him around and everything should shift.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay.
Cool. So it's a pretty small flaw in that area of attaching to said character.
Yeah, I'm interested in finding the
casting issue, I imagine.
Yeah, the casting issue. Set active turn. It's, I think, got to be in here.
We're not switched across to code yet.
That's all right. Set active turn. I want to actually come back over here and look at this to see what our messages are here that we're getting. Because I'm expecting to see set active turn. There it is. So set active turn is here. I'm not sure why we're seeing it twice.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure it's not being called twice. It's not. Okay, active turn indicator, create known effect, that's that, create effect, rebuild properties, so now we're rebuilding, and these are going through all the properties making changes. Instance, create and find unsafe of what, though, is the question. So this needs a little more detail. We're calling TaleSpire prefabs clone, but at this point I don't think we need to because we've already called this prefab to create. Don't destroy on load, creation complete, modifying active with true.
Another create or find unsafe.
I need to specify the text there. All right, let's at least add that right now. Create or find unsafe of no, it's not called name. Oh, it depends on, hold on. Depends on what it is. So we can put it down here. Prefab to create is its text name. Like that. So at least get that piece in there. Yeah, it's create or find and save, transform, parent transform, find existing child name. It's trying to find the existing child name. So that's this guy right here. Existing child name. Like that. As you complete, modify, and change. Repeat with children. And then we get a specified cast is not valid. Repeat with children. Right here.
Yeah.
Is it this? It's children. Is that my cast invalid?
That feels like it could be, yeah. Because although we ourselves are a composite effect, you can't presume that eventually you're going to hit a non-composite item, right?
No.
A sort of a building block.
No, children only should consist of composite effects.
Okay.
So I'm not expecting that to actually happen. We can add some defensive code to check to see if the cast is correct and put the error message out if it's not. That's kind of what I'm feeling is the thing to do.
Sure.
Because we come right back into create or find unsafe, and when we hit that, the first thing we do is we're gonna do the log. But if we look over here at the log, our last message is repeat with children.
Yeah.
Now it's also possible that the problem isn't here. That at the end of this, we just simply return the instance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, which is a game object. Let's go look at minis. Are we doing any casting for that at all? None at all. There's no type. There's no casting here. But the parent call is actually working.
You're not back on the code yet, Mark.
Thanks. The active turn indicator is actually parented. So the exception isn't happening here. Set active turn. The fact that we're seeing evidence that it's painted indicates that that's not the problem. Is the problem here? This is just data. It's just a string. Yeah, there's no typecasting here either. Okay, now I'm trying to figure out where is the exception. I don't get it.
All I can think is more diagnostics to granularize the location that we can be at.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, actually. So if there's a problem, we'll get a message there. Otherwise, we're going to say success. So I guess we'll just throw this out here. Success, set active term. Like that. We'll do that. Let's go into set active turn. Let's just throw the diagnostics at it. Yeah, isn't that interesting? It's like, what?
It's very strange.
So we're going to do a composite effect created. Bang, bang, bang. Parent set. Because I'm trying to figure out how do we get this line of code executed with that exception? That's what I'm really kind of blown away by. I don't really get that.
See, at this point, we're now going through all sorts of stuff that really should be working based on lots of other things we can do.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So we're going to send a little bit more data out here. Existing name, this piece. There was, I think, an opportunity in here. So item to clone. We're going to set that out there. I'm pretty sure item to clone is a string. It is. Item to borrow, I can do the same thing here. Item to borrow. Effect name to create. Okay, creation complete. Repeat with children. We were maybe thinking there was a chance here that there was some corrupted data. I just don't believe it to be true. I just don't. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So we got a message before
Give
and
some
a
proof
message
either way.
afterwards. That's kind of what I'm thinking, yeah. Okay, closing down the second machine. Not the second machine, the second instance of TaleSpire. Rebuilding over here. That rebuild all copies the executable, the DLLs over to the second machine. Which I'm starting up TaleSpire on it right now.
So if our history is anything to go by, having put all this diagnostic information in place, it'll just work, right? For no good reason.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've seen in the past. And we still didn't fix the positioning of that.
That's true.
The changing of the position. Its local position... I forget, there's a way to do this, and I forget how to do it. I may have to parent it first and then change its position to 000. I just don't remember. Okay, so let's see. What do we have here? Are we, I forget, do we still, or still...
Apollo!
Oh, there we go. Okay. So, let's see what our issues are here. Specified cast not valid. Command to set active turn. And yet we still don't have... Look at this. Parent set. Composite effect created.
Return instances kicking off twice, like we sort of would have. Well, it proves that loop is working, as you expected.
You see,
it also suggests the issue's happening afterwards.
Yeah, so let's go look at it. I'm now starting to get the feeling that the problem is actually an execute command, that I've done something wrong here with execute command. Or with... I'm wondering if the problem is, let's see, I've got this invoke call. Is this, what are you?
That's the center, oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
I was going to say it was the center server that we renamed, but we do have invokes for other reasons.
Yeah, I don't think it's the piece that we've renamed. Is what, when I hit like F12 on this thing to jump into it,
yeah,
I'm over here in function. So it's a function piece there. So it's just a call on the commands. The commands is a list of what? Function bindings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we look at the commands, let's take a look at, let's compare the one we added, set active turn, with wiggle creature. Wiggle creature returns a string, set active turn returns a string. This is returning response good or bad. This is just the piece the text we're going to return back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a response good right there.
Okay, what about the idea that we are constructing an API response object and we're at some level two-stringing it in order to send it back? In order to two-string it, it needs to take all its internal components and two-string them. What about one of the things we're assigning, i.e. maybe that creature there, doesn't have a mechanic for turning itself into a string?
Yeah, that is, I think, actually the problem. I'm bringing back the asset, but I don't want to bring back the asset. I want to bring back its position, because that's a serializable piece. So it's not creature, it's creature. Do I have get position and get character position, which is an extension method I added. Yeah. That's what I want to do. That's my problem. That's
so
my
if
problem.
we're right, then it's the creature that couldn't be cast effectively to a string.
Yes.
Or serialized in that sense. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. There's a problem inside of good where good comes in and takes the data, and then at some point when we do toString, right here, can I drill into this? Do we have it? There it is right there. So this is the problem code.
Yeah.
Okay, where we try to serialize this. We get the invalid cast there. That's what's going on, I think. Okay.
Funnily enough, I've seen similar code like that before. What happened was somebody was trying to log exceptions to a database and inserting them into a string field, but they'd inherited in one case adding an extra property to the exception, which was not itself serializable. And they didn't realize this, so what happened was the code then ran through, tried to serialize, and crashed inside the error logging exercise. Quite tricky to find that eventually, obviously, because there's no data to support it.
Yeah, I get you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this in a try-catch, and I'm going to return string.empty. Is what I'm going to do. So at least we're going to say, we're going to get a little bit more detail here on where the problem is. Caller name. Here's the exception. Let's do this. Let's do an error where we're going to say error. We're going to very clearly say error serializing data. We're serializing check data. Like that. So we'll at least give ourselves a bigger clue next time this happens. Okay? All right.
Although we expect that we have, in fact, sidestepped this particular problem now.
Right, this particular one, but yeah, okay, so we've done that. Next, we need to go to the minis where we parent it, and I need to look at this. I just want to tab to next reference on this to see what's going on here. Target disk transform dot set parent transform dot position, that right there. I think. So add target disk does this correctly. It needs the position. It gets from the parent's position. Parent's position to add target disk, I think it's going to be the base. No, it's transform the flashlight. Fine. Okay. Add target disk. So I think we need to do this. We need to say active turn indicator dot transform dot position is equal to creature asset. I think we can just do this. Creature asset dot, oh, I didn't realize it was actually that dot position. Can we do that, or do I have to create a new vector 3D? I don't think I do.
I think you're good with that. Vectors are, I think, value-based.
Yeah, so I think it's just going to transfer that one or two across. Yeah. Okay, so let's try shutting down, restarting. And rebuild all succeeded. Clicking play on the TaleSpire machine. Switching your view over to TaleSpire.
Mooney Machine in the chat there agrees with us. They're structs. They will copy their data. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I just for a second I was like, am I in trouble?
No harm with a little second guessing here and there. If it's all the time, then we have some issues, but a little sprinkling is fine.
Great assistance today, by the way, Roy. Thank you for your help.
No trouble at all.
I do it all the time. Yeah, no worries. It's Mooney Machine.
Okay, this time.
Yeah, I know.
Enter combat. We're gonna.
I think we're in combat. I think I'm just going to hit next turn. Okay.
Okay, there's.
Next turn.
I mean, that's correct, right?
There it is. There, Shanti.
Yep. So we have fixed firstly that it happens without a crash, and secondly that it is in fact in the right location.
Wow. Okay.
Score. 2 points.
2 points. I do kind of like the trail that kind of goes too as you move them around when you see the active turn. I don't quite exactly like all of this. I'd like it to change the color, but I do like the light. The light is cool, right? To show who's playing there. Fred's over here.
Nocturne.
Yeah. All right.
Apollo. Shanti.
All right. So need some improvements.
Yep.
Maybe I'll change it to something like kind of fire coming around the base or something like that. But it's not bad. How are you doing on time, Ray? I feel like we're...
I suspect I maybe should be moving on to other things at the moment, but
right,
yeah. I was just thinking, not sure if it's in your plans or not, but it occurs to me that occasionally the next person to move, the next person to have their turn, is not on screen. Perhaps we need to look at some camera movement stuff at some point.
Camera move. Yeah, that's interesting.
Look at the party go. Jetsam, happy to see me leave, obviously. I kid.
Roy, we are so happy you're helping us out today. Thank you so much for that.
Absolute pleasure, my friend. Absolute pleasure. I'll be rejoining you at a similar time tomorrow, I believe.
Right. Going out in style, of course. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Roy.
Have a good one. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Now, although this looks like I've still got the light here. Did that really happen, or is there another light going on? This is a light following me around. Is that on everybody now? I think it's on everyone. Why is the light? I don't get that. Let's go see if we can find it. Effect editor, explore mini. Let's go grab my character. I don't see it. There's nothing extra here. But boy, does it sure seem like there's a light following me around. How is this possible? What's going on, TaleSpire? There definitely is a point light on those minis. Yeah, what's remarkable is we're actually exploring the minis and it's not showing up. I'm just seeing the normal stuff you already see. Like Fred is currently selected. If we go explore Fred instead, and we say, okay, where's Fred? We should be able to see Fred's, the pieces we've added into the container. There. So there's that guy. We would turn that off. See the light go off on Fred? Right over there? That's the piece I'm talking about. What's weird, if we turn that off, does Fred have a light that follows him around? Fred does have a light. What's going on? Is this something else? This could be like, it's the torch. Okay. It's not us. It's the torch. Okay. It's a torch. All right. That could be it could be a separate object. Wait, hold on. It could be a separate object in the hierarchy that is programmed to maintain position, but that would be odd. That's what I thought it was for a second, Mooney. I think it would be more likely to be parented in the hierarchy. I agree. I did hear about this. I read about this, especially with lights, that they did not put them inside game objects. So I was thinking, did they detect my light and then borrow it? But no, it's just that the torch option was turned on. That's all it was. Okay, good to know. All right, so if I continue to hit next turn,
Nocturne.
there we go.
Apollo.
It's not bad. Camera movement.
Santi.
Guess who's scared to write camera movement code, kids? It's me. Because I'm like, I want it to be good. I want to be able to move the camera smoothly so we can see the character. And I'm scared to do it. Hopefully there's some methods already to do it, and we can maybe find those, get those in. All right, so we've got the essence of what our initial goal piece is, but I still want to make some changes. One of the changes I want to make is what happens if a character is, like, for example, double size, right? Now when it comes to be my turn, Mooney says, if you want to do smooth movement, you might want to look at a LERP library. Yes, I'm 100% with you, but it's like smooth movement in 3D. What happens if the character's not on board? It's going to take some work to do it. So you can do some ease in out of those movements. I 100% agree with you on that. I've actually written my own LERP stuff as well in the past. I think I just have anxiety that's maybe unfounded. I think I can. The more I think about it, I think you're right. It's not too hard. I'm gonna hit next turn on here, and now it's my turn. And so no, what you can't quite see here is that the spotlight is smaller. See, you can see right around the edge, right here. We need to use a different spotlight. So right now, if we look at the code, let's switch back over to the main machine here and set active turn. This guy is for a 1x1 size. By one creature. But I want to get a different one based on what the size of the creature is. So I need to figure out what the size of that creature is, and I forget how to do it. I think it might be in creature asset. I'm not sure if TaleSpire's given that to us or not. Useful methods included. Oh, okay. Look at. That's right, Mooney Machine. You're totally helping me out. Look at. As long as the camera is programmed to keep pointing at a relevant target, moving around probably won't be a problem as long as it eases in and out. Gotcha. As long as the objects don't get in between the camera and the target, things like that. Gotcha. Yeah, just something to help out. All right, so let's go see if we can add this code to figure out how big the base is. Scale. Creature scale. Aha. So, if creature scale is equal to 1, so what I'm going to do is get a name here for the effect name, and we're going to say the effect name is equal to that. Right there. In fact, actually, we're going to make this the default right here. We'll do that. If it's equal to 2, we'll make that 2x2. And you might also need to do some kind of lerpy transition of the look at target over the course of the movement so the camera sort of turns over time while it's moving. Yeah, I was kind of thinking of that as well. Else if that is equal to 3, then we're going to make it 3 by 3. Else if it's equal to 4, it's a 4 by 4. Else if it's equal to 0.5, I'll turn that into 0.5 there. Then the name is equal to 0.5 times 0.5. Otherwise, it's equal to active turn 1.1. So based on the scale, 2, 3, 4, 0.5, hopefully that's what we need to know. In other words, let me try to speak a little more clearly. Hopefully, my assumption that 2 is for when it's double scale is the actual value here for creature scale. Let me just tap the next reference, see if we're using this anywhere else. Oh, cool. In log creature asset. Log creature asset. I think I got access to that. And this guy, if I do load creatures, Merkin. We're just not sending that data out. Let's go look at that again. Log creature asset. Who's calling this? On line of sight updated. Ah, it's only on line of sight updated. Okay, so what that means is over here in TaleSpire, I need to go listen to events and move a creature. And then come back over here and look at the scale for Merkin. Scale is 2. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, cool. So the assumption's correct. All right, listen to events is there. Switching back over to machine number 1. So scales 2, 3, 4, or 5. This is going to load up different effects built and stored in the Google spreadsheet. And then this is the default is going to be active turn 1 by 1. That's what's going to happen. All right, so let's shut down TaleSpire on machine number 2. Let's rebuild on machine number 1. Like a temp target that is slowly moving between target 1 and target 2. Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's kind of really a great idea, Mooney. I like that a lot. I kind of want to arc it too. I don't want it moving in a straight line. I think I want to arc it and even have that temp target ease in and then ease out as well. Okay, rebuild all succeeded. Starting up TaleSpire. Yeah. Unless I screwed it up off the top of my head. Yeah, no, I get it. Well, don't worry. I'll go to a LERP library there, and we'll make that all good when I finally dive in and do it. Yeah, there's also an argument for not looking, not moving the camera, just immediately jumping it, because there might be parts of the map we don't want to move the camera through, for example. Okay. Disable torch. Let's turn off some of these torches here that I have turned on. Got a torch on there. Disable torch. All right. And then you've got a torch. You look like your torch is on. Better? Okay, better. Okay, so let's enter battle again. Actually, I don't even think I need to enter battle. I'm in battle, so I'm just going to say next turn. Cutie.
Janus.
We're going to keep going all the way around.
Noctan.
Noctan. Let's actually make a couple of these bigger here. So Noctan is here. Let's make Noctan 4x4. We'll put him right down here. Now, it's too small now, but I'm anticipating that the next time around we'll see it and it'll get to the right size. So I'm not making any changes to it if it is if it's changed during active turn. Okay. All right. Let's get this guy over here. This I think is Yanni's. Is that right? Over here, let's make him a 3x3. 3x3. And then we need to get make this guy be a 0.5 by 0.5. So I've got a 3x3, a 2x2, 4x4, and a half by half. Let's see how it works. Okay, hitting Nick's turn.
Apollo.
Where's Apollo? Apollo's over here, apparently, and that looks completely wrong. Let's see if we have anything in the log that tells us what we're looking for here. Set active turn 3x3. Well, it's tried to find it. I think the height is wrong on yeah, it's 3x3. So it tried to find the right one. Explore Mini, that was Apollo, I think. There it is right there. Active turn 1x1 got in. But it said it was looking for active turn 3x3. Did I mess the code up? I did. I totally did. It's my fault. All right. I'll show you what's going on. Got the right name, didn't use it here. That's going to make a big difference. Okay. So let's close down. Closing down TaleSpire. Gonna do a rebuild. Forgot to plug it in, yeah. That's exactly what I forgot to do. All right, just waiting for TaleSpire to shut down. I wanted to remember my changes there, and I was just a little nervous that it didn't do that. Still looking at TaleSpire closing down on the other machine. Come on. Switch over so you can really see it. Check out the chromatic aberration. It's like such an unusual feature. It's like it's always, I guess it's great if you're like, I don't think it's as good in a D&D game like this. All right, I'm rebuilding on machine number 1. Rebuild all succeeded. Whoops, not what I wanted to do. Play. The aberration, lots of those effects are over the top to me. Yeah, on a board game, it doesn't really make sense. On a game where I'm like moving quickly or, you know, that sort of thing, chromatic aberration I think is fine because all that stuff in the peripheral vision. But on a board game, I might want to look at that space, and the chromatic aberration there I think is a little overkill. There's settings in TaleSpire to change it, but I haven't turned it off yet. Hey, Coded Gorilla, welcome. Okay, So now we're back up. We're still in combat on machine number 1. So I should be able to just hit next turn. All right. Is that one? It looks big on the bottom, but she's right on the edge. Yeah, that is correct. So see how the light goes right around the edge there? That's what I'm looking for. So that's for 1 by 1.
Shanti.
Same. Okay, cool. So now I've got the bigger light there because I'm the larger scale. Yeah, smaller light. And there's a smaller light there. I moved. Yeah, and there's the 4 by 4, 3 by 3. Cool.
Shanti.
Cool.
Janus.
Yeah. There we go. Nice. And I've adjusted the brightness on the lights too, so they're about the same. Now, we haven't changed the particles piece that's happening here, but I'm not entirely convinced this is what I'm going to go with. I'm actually playing with the idea of a different effect. Something like coming right around the ring of the base, for example. Something else. I'll have to give that some thought. I also wanted to change the color of these, but I don't think I'm going to do that now. I wanted to do it based on the player color, which we don't quite have yet, in terms of we're not passing that down. So I'm going to call that, I think, the end of the show is what I'm going to do. Let's get a raid going, and we'll send you off to one of the other live coders. Make sure you're in good hands. Send over to Kale Codes right now. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. I enjoyed it. Thanks for streaming. Thank you, Moon and Machine. You're big help. Thanks to you, Coding Gorilla, as well. Appreciate it. And we'll see you kids tomorrow.